No more lambs! So after 7 seasons of lambing, we decided to put a pause on our breeding. Yeah.
Yeah, so watch this video to find out why we're not breeding these cute little adorable lambs anymore. So how do we get started with all the sheep?
Well, actually, it was Aras who thought, hey, let's start with sheep. We bought property in Cherry Creek just outside Kamloops, and the soil was very poor and it was just covered in weeds and everything, just not managed at all. We didn't want to spend time and energy and on a lawnmower, so we thought, yeah, let's try some sheep. So our first 3 sheep, Zanu, Golova, and Rambo, our first ram, were hair sheep. So yeah, we decided on hair sheep for a number of reasons. One, mainly because you don't have to shear them, which is great. And also, their temperaments are incredible. So they're like a dog. Yeah, they're like a dog with hooves. There are actually a couple times where we forgot. When we initially got sheep, we didn't have them fenced in. We just had them by our house and just kind of wandering around everywhere. And we forget the front door open, and we hear toot, 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 and we go in the kitchen, and there's sheep in the kitchen wondering where we are, what's going on. So anyway, the hair sheep have extremely docile, calm temperaments. And also, they're very, very good on poor forage. So, which was what we had in Cherry Creek. It was poor soils, a lot of sage, and the hair sheep are very good, can survive and thrive on that. Also, they're very pest resistant, pest parasite resistant, which is another great thing. So there's less having to vaccinate and drench and all this stuff. So very, very low maintenance as far as sheep go. Another great thing we learned about hair sheep are also with lambing. They're very easy lambers. There's a lot, you really don't have to interfere much at all. They take care of themselves, and they're very, very good moms for the most part. So those are a number of reasons why we decided to go with the hair sheep.
At the beginning, we had this conversation, and I really wanted to go with the wool sheep because to me, like, if you're raising it, why not get the extra wool? But we learned very quickly after the first time we had to take sheep to our neighbor to teach us how to shear, that it's not as simple as you think it is. It's actually a very difficult job. It takes a certain amount of skills. It's a very delicate art to be able to shear sheep. So
definitely.
Even though if you watch some videos, it looks very easy.
It looks like shaving your beard or something. Oh my gosh, no.
Not at all like that. It's quite it requires a lot of knowledge and skills and energy.
Yeah.
And so and for us just doing it on our own, it just didn't make sense.
No.
So yeah, we had 2 wool sheep that we got early on, and so we got to experience that. But overall, we kept mostly the hair sheep just because of that, because we didn't have help and we couldn't shear them all ourselves.
Yeah. So after our first lambing season, we fell in love. Actually, within like a week and a half of having the sheep, I fell in love. That was it. I was over here. I'm a sheep girl from now on. And after our first season of lambing, fell in love, and I knew this is something we were going to do, animals we wanted to keep for the rest of our lives, pretty much. And then once our neighbors and friends heard that we had lambs, and they wanted to buy them for their own forage management, it just kind of took off from there. They exploded. So at one point we had about 32 ewes, 2 rams, and over 60 lambs. So I was just like, whew, really exploded.
And when our neighbors in Cherry Creek, they saw that we had so much success building soil and controlling the grass, especially because of the concerns with wildfire around there. Our neighbors were very interested for us to go and graze their properties. So just after a few years, we started getting more and more contacts from neighbors to come and graze their property. At one point, we were grazing over 100 acres. So we had our own 20-acre lot, and then several of the neighboring properties that we were grazing them throughout the year. And so it was really beneficial, and they definitely helped improve the soil and control the grass. So in that sense, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great too because we chose to raise our sheep as natural as possible. So we don't like to give them anything or do anything extra than we have to, you know? So that's why we chose to do the intensive grazing method, or rotational grazing method, where we rotate them to a different pasture every 7 days or so. And this decreases the parasite load. It keeps them a lot healthier, so we don't have to deal with that. So we never had to, you know, drench. We never had to give them anything, and we've never had an issue with parasites or anything. So we're lucky that way. It's like we had the space and opportunity to graze elsewhere. Yeah, and I mean, again, another reason why these sheep are so amazing to keep. They are low maintenance. So really the only thing we have to do, besides during lambing season, that's a whole nother story, but mostly the only thing we need to do to maintain their health is clip their feet once a year, because their feet will grow like our fingernails and toenails, and you just clip them with shears, trim them up, and then that's about it. Otherwise they're very healthy, easy to keep, amazing. Yeah.
But because we practice the intensive grazing, which you might hear in the context of regenerative farming, a lot of people practice this. So it's unlike the traditional way the sheep were kept, where they were just left on their own. With intensive grazing, you constantly move them, and that helps build soil and prevent them from eroding, overgrazing and causing erosion and things like that.
It's very important.
Yeah. But that also comes a lot of work.
Yeah, so that's another, a big lesson that we learned with sheep was learning electric fencing. And I have a love-hate relationship. I know I've talked about it before because it's a beautiful thing. It's the sheep, again, with these hair sheep, they're smart. They learn fast. So it works very well to keep them. And it's, easy enough to move around, but it's still so much work. So much work. So you're constantly setting up, because you have 2 pens at one time. You have the pen they're in, and you have to set up their next pen, and you're constantly having to set up, take down, set up, take down. So it is a lot of work, but it's worth it to be able to give them that natural life moving through pastures and forests and everything. So, but yeah, electric fencing was I'm still learning lessons with electric fencing 6-7 years later. It's a fun time, but it's a good.
But it's definitely the way to go. If you want to have sheep, electric fencing is the way to go.
Definitely, it's easy, especially with the older ewes. Like my core girls only really need 2 lines. You don't tell them, but half the time it's not even hot, and they're totally caught. They don't even try.
Learn.
They don't. It's the dogs really that.
But once you have the young lambs and they're at the point where they're just learning, then you have to be really careful. Otherwise they might get out.
After lambing season, usually I add 2 extra lines on the bottom and make only those 2 hot. And so they're extra hot. So once the lambs will touch them once and they learn, and then you have good sheep. So we decided, again, as our flock started to expand, we realized that we need some way to protect them. We had a lot of coyotes in Cherry Creek, and also neighboring dogs. So we did a bit of research. Some people use llamas, donkeys, or dogs. And what we figured that dogs suit our situation better. So that's actually how we ended up with our 2 milk sheep. So Aras had found a farmer was downsizing, getting rid of his sheep and his animals. So there were 2 dogs available, Nikita and Yvonne. Yvonne we still have. Nikita lived out her days. She passed a couple summers ago. She was 16 or 17. Anyway, we went to go pick up the dogs, and the farmer had these wool milk sheep.
Yeah.
So
it's like they're on the way to butcher. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll take them.
So that's.
And they gave us a lot of beautiful lambs.
Yeah, and also milk. We built a stand and did that. It was delicious.
So those 2 were East Frisian crosses. So they had a lot more milk and wool.
Yes, So they were the 2 that we actually learned we tried to learn how to shear on. But
delicious milk.
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah.
The dogs have been doing an excellent job. I don't in the 7 years I don't remember any incidents that we
Not
lost.
once. We've
we
never
haven't
lost
any to
Nope.
coyotes or anything
or
like that.
any predators
Any
at all.
predators at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, what are some of the challenges? Like, I guess lambing season is where it's the
Lambing,
most
yeah. So
challenging.
for the most part, we've had no injuries or illness at all, except during lambing.
Mhm.
So that's when you have to become a vet. You have to learn what to do because you can't be calling the vet to help you with every little situation.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot of learning over the years. We've been so lucky to have incredible neighbors in Cherry Creek
Mhm.
that we wouldn't have. Oh man, I wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for our amazing neighbors in Cherry Creek with a lot of knowledge
Mhm.
who've been farming sheep for a long time. So yeah, so you have to be your own vet. You have to be able to diagnose issues and have everything on hand. Be prepared.
Yeah.
That was one thing we learned for sure.
Yeah, have a dedicated area that's gonna be like the animal hospital in case
Yeah.
somebody gets hurt or
Yeah, we did. I
something
mean,
happens.
like with lambs, when they're young, they, like any young animal, bounce around, run around. And we had a situation, we had a ram lamb slip on the mud and break his leg. Ooh, what do you do? He was at least young enough, 10 weeks old, but still, call a neighbor, watch some videos, and we were able to splint up his leg, and he healed perfectly fine. So once he healed up, and he was just bouncing around like everybody else.
And there with lambing season, there's a expected mortality, right?
Mhm.
The sheep produce 1, 2, or 3 lambs, and
Anything can
but
happen.
Yeah, what is the the standard or the expected?
It was
average?
fairly high. I thought it
It
was,
was like 15%.
yeah, 15 to 20% mortality rate.
Yeah, so
for lambs.
in general, sheep farmers expect that.
Mhm.
I mean, we had a way better rate than that. I think
Yes.
we probably been under 5% for sure.
Under 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rare. It's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every season, and it happens in the first few days. So when the lambs are born, they're very, very sensitive if they don't get colostrum right away.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're very fragile.
Yeah, they're very fragile. So that you might lose a few
Yeah.
out of the lambs.
Especially with first-time moms, they could be if a lambing is painful for them or something happens or something spooks them, then they tend to reject a lamb. So that's when they won't let the lamb nurse from them, and that's very, very bad in the first 24 to 48 hours because that's when the lambs require that colostrum to survive. So if the lambs don't get colostrum, they don't survive. They won't
Yeah.
survive. That's their immunity. So
Sometimes the mom doesn't even reject them; they just lose the lamb, and the lamb is going somewhere else.
that's true.
Yeah.
We've had that. Yeah, if you don't watch, the lamb will wander off and
Yeah.
and get lost and can't find mom. And if they don't have that bonding time, they don't know their voices. They can't talk to each other. So they need that 24, 40 hours to bond to each other. So lamb knows mom's voice because they all talk to their lambs differently. It's very amazing. Everyone has a different sound they make with their lambs, and that's how they find each other. And smell is
smell is a
very
big one,
important.
yeah.
So that's one of the biggest rules.
Yeah.
As tempting as it is to cuddle a newborn lamb, you can't
You
because
never want to touch it.
No.
You don't never want to wash a newborn lamb. You don't want to clean it. Nothing.
no,
Yeah.
especially the back end because that's how moms will
Yeah.
recognize their lambs. Actually, sometimes even when we had one time where mom rejected a lamb, and we had another ewe that had lamb the same time. So we had taken the placenta from that stillborn lamb and rubbed it all over the reject lamb, and kind of covered her in it and whatever, and then gave it to the mom that had lost the lamb.
Yeah.
And it actually worked. It's called grafting.
Yeah, grafting.
Yeah, so it actually worked, and mom smelled the lamb that she had lost and accepted that. Because with sheep, moms do not share with other lambs. So if it's not like some other animals where they can nurse. Yeah,
Yeah.
with sheep won't let other lambs nurse on them.
Yeah, they get very upset.
Yeah,
You can see when the lambs go to drink, they always stick their butt out and start shaking their tail. It's kind of like I think it's they're spreading their smell, so the mom
Yeah.
knows that that's their own lamb.
like
And-
waving the smell around. Yeah, it's really adorable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We raised sheep seriously for many years, and they were actually one of the more successful ventures that we had. We tried so many different farming ventures, but we decided now that it's not really for us anymore. So we come here with a new vision, and so why we decided to stop the lambing operation.
Why stop something I love so much? It comes down to time and energy. You know, it's lambing. I mean, the sheep are fairly easy for most of the year, but lambing season is exhausting. It's just 24/7, and it's usually during the winter, you know, February, March, when the weather's terrible. So you're out. It's a lot of work. It's hard, and I mean, Aras, yeah, it's both of us, but again, they're my girls. I do most of the work, and it's a lot for one person, even two people. So yeah, you know, we'll potentially pick up breeding again in the future. Well, yeah, but we would need a community. We need we need help. So for now, we're gonna focus on other things, and we're keeping the core girls. We're keeping you know, my girls and Rudy, of course. But we're selling our ram, and all the lambs that were born this year are for sale. So we'll just keep our core girls to help build the soil here and maintain, you know, weed management.
Because we came here with a vision to build a food forest, you know, a community orchard, and there is a place for grazing animals there, but at the beginning it's very difficult. So for example, right now we have a row of trees planted right next to where the sheep are, and it's like always a stress. You know, what if, you know, there's always a chance that they can get out, especially when those buds start to come out, they might get very excited. So controlling them in this setting is very difficult. Maybe 5-10 years from now it'll be a little easier when the trees are bigger. But we also don't, you know, we don't ourselves. We don't eat meat.
Yes.
We're both vegetarian. And we also don't sell meat anymore. So we're not, you know, we decided when we left Kamloops, we decided to focus our efforts on, you know, growing the community orchard and food forest. So it doesn't. At this point, it doesn't align with what we want to do, and it's just another distraction. As hard as it is,
I know, because it was very. I mean, the plan was to breed and pay for hay. You know, you have to hay is expensive, and we have to feed hay. You have to feed hay during the season that they're not on pasture. So you know, the lambs really help pay for. That's how we paid for our hay previously, was selling lambs. But you know,
with the current prices of hay, it makes no sense. You don't even. You end up always losing money.
So it's another reason to kind of downsize and keep the core girls and let them live out their lives. They've worked so hard over the past few years for us. They've been so incredible and given us so many beautiful babies. So it's their time to retire too. Girls need a break. So
I mean, if you want to do raise sheep as a farming venture, make sure you have your own hay, because at this point with the current way and the prices are, it's just not I
think hay will only go up in price, which is fair enough. I mean, it takes a lot of work and a lot of equipment, and with the droughts and everything happening and fires, it's only gonna go up in price. So I gotta think that through.
Well, when it comes to grass management and just the weed management, I think the sheep are still a very viable option. And that's what, I mean, we've been marketing them before as well, as that for people who want to just, you know, manage a few acres.
Just have a couple for pets.
We had a lot of customers that they just buy the sheep for pets. And if you think about it, you know, if you compare a modern lawnmower with a sheep, I mean, there's a lot of benefits in keeping a sheep, right?
Definitely.
You got something, you know, I mean, most lawnmowers are still manual. You don't have autonomous operation. The sheep is autonomous, and they're very smart about it.
They are. And they're manure spreaders. They're manure and fertilize.
Exactly. And they, you know, they have many benefits. You know, they even provide emotional support that lawnmower is not.
That's it. You know, there's some days where I do not, a lot of days where I do not want to get out of bed, but when you get out and you come down and see the girls and they're so happy to see you and everyone loves their butt scratches, and it's just like, this is why they're the best antidepressant you could ask for. Honestly, that's my antidepressant.
They also last a lot longer than lawnmowers.
That's true.
A lawnmower usually breaks down, you know, on average about 10 years. That's how life you get out of it.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Right? But a sheep can live up to, like, we have like some sheep that are almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
Because we got some old sheep from another farmer that we still have them. but they're also self-replicating.
Yeah, right?
Show me a lawnmower that can make another lawnmower.
Exactly. That's so true.
And
Yeah.
you know they're very resilient in that way. You can have a small flock and it just keeps increasing. So
Yeah.
the initial cost of getting into sheep is a little bit more. You know, you might get a really nice lawnmower for $500, but one sheep is, you know, around $300.
Yeah, depending what you're doing.
But if you're managing a few acres, you want to have a small flock.
yeah, yeah.
So you might want to invest like $1,000,
yeah.
something like that, to start your flock. But you know, it's an investment if you manage it correctly. And really, the only downside is just that management piece. That you know, because they are autonomous, because they go wherever there is the grass, they can eat it. You need to set up fences.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference.
And train. And
Yeah,
train.
a
We
little train,
also
yeah.
verbally train the sheep.
Yeah.
So if we yell the keyword sheepies, then they all come
all
running.
come,
So no matter what's going on. So it's
Yeah.
they're really easy to train that way.
Yeah.
That's how, we wouldn't be able to move them pasture without that. So.
Yeah. So in that way, we're happy to still have these because we don't
Yeah.
have to manage grass. That's
for
a
sure.
huge benefit. We don't have to burn, you know, gas.
Yeah. And our time.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, ask a girl about her sheep and you better grab a cup of tea because I could talk for hours. Another big lesson we learned was bottle lambs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so lambs that get rejected by mom, and you have to raise them yourself. So you have to train them to the bottle because they don't automatically start sucking on a bottle. So that takes a lot of work. And then once they connect you to food and the bottle to food, it's so hard to get them off the bottle. So so at one point I think we had 6 bottle lambs at one point. Oh my gosh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's when you have like 30, 40 other lambs that
Yeah.
you have to take care of also.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just watch and then there's also other chores.
So yeah, I mean, with bottle lambs you have to. I mean, when they're young in the first couple weeks, you feed them maybe 3-4 times a day. But as they get older, 6 to 10 weeks, you have to feed them 5 times a day. I think. Yeah, we were going. I was going. Yeah, it was about 5 or 6 times a day, and they would drink a bottle at every feeding. And they want more, but I mean, they'll drink for hours. But so that was that was interesting.
It gets overwhelming really fast.
It is during springtime when we have bottle lambs and stuff. You know, our kitchen's just full of milk replacer and bottles and nipples and.
We were pretty lucky this year. We had 1 bottle lamb and quickly found you found a really good home for them.
Usually we hold on to bottle lambs and raise them and sell them as pets because they're excellent pets because they associate humans with the milk and the food and so they end up being like dogs. But this year we just didn't have the time or energy to raise them fully. So we sold him fairly young to a really wonderful family who keeps pets, the pet sheep and goats to manage their yard. So yeah, he went to a really wonderful home. But yeah, we're lucky he was the only one. Everybody else has been good. So
thank you so much for watching another update from us.
yes. And if there's anyone local who wants to come by and see some lambs, better do it in the next couple months because they'll be our last batch. So come by, cuddle some lambs. Watch them bounce around.
Get some lamb therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Lamb therapy. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much again. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. And we'll see you soon.
Bye. Exactly.